The secret that I want to tell you is that CosmWasm is a Chad. It's like, seriously, it's the best thing out there. The best thing out there for building interchain protocols. We'll unpack that in a bit.
Yo, welcome back to the Zen Lounge. I have a fun video planned for you guys today. Today we're going to go even deeper into the CosmWasm. If you guys didn't watch my first video into the CosmWasm, please watch my first deep dive. This is episode 2, and we're going to be talking all about the CosmWasm. I'm going to be showing you 2 clips, one from Jake Hartnell. You just saw a teaser clip from him. And then I'm also going to be showing you a video from the father of CosmWasm, Ethan Frey. He brings up some great points in these clips. So one of the big things I want to talk about is this key point from my video yesterday. CosmWasm eliminates reentrancy attacks, which have been responsible for billions in lost funds, notably the DAO and parity multi-sig hacks. So if you guys aren't familiar, last year in 2022, there were several massive cross-chain bridge hacks. Actually, this report right here says half of all DeFi exploits are cross-bridge hacks. Over 2.5 billion have been stolen from cross-chain bridges in the past 2 years. From my research, I personally believe the Cosmos devs are the OG people who came up with the multi-chain thesis and how to solve this issue. They've been working on this singular issue for 6 to 7 years, deployed IBC, and IBC is doing really well. Now let me read this paragraph. It also appears that a vast majority of cross-chain exploits that have happened thus far took place on the Ethereum virtual machine, EVM blockchains. This includes this year's most serious incidents such as Axie Infinity Ronin bridge hack, the Wormhole token bridge hack, and the Nomad bridge hack. Meanwhile, cross-chain bridges based on the Cosmos inter-blockchain communications (IBC) protocol, which has surpassed 1 billion in total value locked, have largely avoided the spearhead of attacks. So the IBC is basically getting crowned the gold standard for cross-chain communications. In my personal opinion, you could see how many people are planning to adopt it in this upcoming bull cycle. So that's my quick little video today. Now enjoy these educational videos from Jake Hartnell and Ethan Frey, and hopefully you're able to learn something new today. Thank you for tuning in. Please give me a thumbs up. Please leave some comments, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.
But yeah, it's the future of smart contracts. You can use languages you already know, like Rust or Go, soon TypeScript, or C# or C++, or if you want formal verification, you can use Scala. It's easy to write secure smart contracts with CosmWasm. You can use existing libraries. Get this, if you want to use a cool math library, you can just use it. You don't have to rewrite it from scratch in Solidity. And it's highly extensible, and my favorite thing is it's IBC ready. We're IBC ready. Yeah, you can write custom IBC applications. And the performance is actually really good where it matters. Like, a lot of people think about just transactions per second, but how much compute can a smart contract do? Each Fibonacci number is a lot harder to compute than the last. CosmWasm blows away the EVM, it blows away Solana, and it blows away Polkadot. Now, what might this be useful for? Well, things like zero-knowledge protocols, like that's a cool buzzword, right? We like privacy, like real privacy. Rust has great ZK libraries, like ArcWorks, that compile to WASM, or WebAssembly. And we have the first ZK protocols that are starting to happen, and they're happening in the Juno ecosystem. Things like Web Protocol, Vectis with like private membership through verified credentials, Juno Juicer. There's a lot of possibilities. Mostly CosmWasm, and this is like the setup for the more interesting stuff that all of you degens will care. It's the best way to build IBC applications. You have an amazing developer experience. It's way easier than building a Cosmos SDK module. You can just write a smart contract. Really fast go to market. You just upload a smart contract versus having to upgrade an entire chain and convince the entire chain to upgrade. So if you want to deploy your protocol everywhere, You just have to upload smart contracts everywhere. It's not that hard. And you can even do it via DAOs. And the cool thing about CosmWasm is you can deploy it on non-Cosmos SDK chains, like composable finance. And who knows, maybe there'll be more chains. And you can interact with native modules if you have to. So we're committed to advancing CosmWasm in a big way. We're funding these awesome core teams to build the core technologies to make them the best that they can be, as performant, as secure as possible. And we're really happy to be working with Confio, giving them the funding they need to like build the future. Notional DAO and Strangelove. Like seriously, they're amazing teams. Like, so Juno's got a lot of firepower now. We're making such large investments as a community because the future is interchain protocols. What does that mean? Interchain protocols exist across many chains. Like, if you're a protocol, you want to deploy on as many places as possible. That's how you get network effects. We aim to create, fund, and incubate and house as many of these as possible. Here's a few examples. Wind protocol. They're building awesome interchain DeFi protocols. Protocols that live and have total value locked across multiple chains. Things like DEXs, order books, lending, stable coins, and more. Really excited about Wind. Interchain protocols are the future, and we're just getting started. I know of a bunch of other ones in the works, and by this time next year, the list is going to be too long to list because interchain protocol. And I might have said this before, but interchain is really the new paradigm. Like, people need to wake the fuck up to this. Like, and we all must face some hard truths. Like, for example, competition is going to increase. Everything's going to be copied. Like, you know, protocols just want to be everywhere. So if you're launching a layer 1 chain and you like fund a protocol, you're going to try to lock them in. It's going to be like holding water. They're going to want to go to all the other chains because that's what's best for them. Block space is cheap and will be cheaper. If you're like, you're not that special anymore. This is the interchain. Like, there's going to be thousands of chains, you know. Newcomers will beat you with incentives. They're just going to launch a token. There's going to be 1,000% APR, and it's like they're just going to be beating you. And moreover, the meta and the tech are constantly changing. Your Cosmos SDK chain that was state of the art like early this year, well, guess what? There's going to be new kids on the block. And how does your project thrive in such environment? Well, to thrive in a new paradigm, we must evolve. But I think we need to think even bigger than that. We're going to push CosmWasm everywhere, because this is what will make these interchain protocols really valuable. We need as many places for these interchain protocols to go as we can get. CosmWasm everywhere, even on the hub. I'm going to put up the proposal again. Seriously. It needs to be on the hub. It was like the people footing the security thing, they're wrong. Permissioned CosmWasm, completely safe. Like, you know, look at Stargaze uptime. Fucking perfect. And guess what? We're going to create more CosmWasm chains. This is a crazy idea, but what if we create more CosmWasm chains for the benefit of Juno stakers and the Juno DAO? Because there will inevitably be CosmWasm plus Celestia. Like, it's inevitable, you know? It's like two good things, like, of course. There's going to be CosmWasm plus AvaX. There's going to be experimental CosmWasm chains using really cool things, like maybe Narwhal, or like there's like a million cool things to play with. Like, and here's the point. If these CosmWasm chains are inevitable, why not launch them ourselves? We got to think interchain. So
I would love you to share with us the vision of CosmWasm and what it basically enables developers to do.
Then let's do two questions. The first division of Cosmos. Cosmos, I mentioned briefly, is a network of sovereign blockchains. The vision of Cosmos is fewfold. It came from 2016 white paper, inspired me, which is why I got involved. I was thinking of the first developer besides the founders to be involved in Cosmos. It is the Tendermint consensus algorithm, which is Byzantine fault tolerant proof of stake. It was the first one to really do a solid proof of stake model with fast finality, which is then, Polkadot has a similar model of that now. I think Avalanche has similar models to it too. Different algorithms, but same idea of Byzantine fault tolerant proof of stake. Ethereum's also moved now to this kind of level of really secure proof of stake. So I think it really, that one. The other one is app chain thesis. So every chain is niches. So rather than putting everything into one big chain, you have different chains and different focuses, which works in some cases. And also bridging, inter-blockchain communication, making inter-blockchain communication and trustless bridges a principle. And so they've been working on that 2016 designing it. I was working in 2017 writing white papers on that stuff, right? So people come out in 2021, 2022 realizing, oh, multi-chain is important. Let's throw a bridge out there. And actually have 3 or 5 valid signatures or 5 of 9. Oh, they hacked the machine. They stole our bridge. Sorry, Axie Infinity, right? Like it's not really a good solution. It's a hack, I would say, right? It's a quick hack, not like a hacked, but a quick fix. It's a quick solution, not a thorough design solution, right? So there are definitely some systems that are much more heavily designed. Polkadot's communication system also is the same time development as Cosmos is. I think these are both heavily researched, heavily designed systems. I think they're both very good for their things. And there's some other ones out there too, but it has the benefit of basically saying you have 2 sovereign chains that have fast finality, and you can have a bridge that has no trusted parties in it. So the only way of hacking the bridge, basically is hacking one of the 2 blockchains. If you can hard fork one of the 2 blockchains, you break the bridge. So the trust level is a minimum of the 2 blockchains are connected, but generally it's a pretty high level, right? Bridges are usually attacked as a far, far, far easier attack than either the 2 blockchains. So I think it's really, really high, and been working on this technology for 6 years now, which means, 5, 6 years, which is it's really solid. I think this is the fundamental baked in part of Cosmos. So Cosmos really has the idea of quick proof of stake chains connected with inter-blockchain communication. So really cheap, easy, trust minimized bridging between chains at very small block times. So that gives interesting properties, right? Allowing composition between chains. That's Cosmos vision, right? So CosmWasm came from that. I came from that. I got a blockchain. I thought Ethereum was amazing. And I almost got into it, except I didn't like Solidity. I probably would have been an Ethereum developer if Solidity wasn't so ugly. But, I love the vision of that in Cosmos. So CosmWasm builds on that, right? So it's really meant around being portable. So it's not for one chain. It's a module that you plug into any Cosmos chain, right? So any Cosmos decay chain, it's easy to import it. You do a little configuration. Within a day, you have a developer adding a CosmWasm module to your chain. It integrates with the native modules, like the bank module, moving tokens, staking module. It can vote on the governance module, right? The native modules. And you can add custom integrations with a little more work. So, it's mostly exposed their exchange, which is a native module, to the contract. So contracts can swap the native modules. So we worked hard to basically complement Cosmos' native module approach, the SDK approach. So it's, in that sense, it's tied in to work well, not just as, it's smart contracts alone. Smart contracts tie into the native modules and the functionality of every chain they're in. But you also have this general functionality that works in every chain. That's one piece of it. And so we wanted to work with that vision. We also thought interchain communication was very important. So we made that first class primitive. We expose the idea of channels, these channels, which are trustless bridges, basically, between chains. We expose it to contracts so they can actually talk to a contract and talk to another contract, another chain with their own protocol, not just calling an address, but they can actually develop another packet protocol to talk between the blockchains, right? Not just like, oh, I can call someone on another chain. They build that thing, which can do different things than just calling a function of another contract, right? So you can build your own balancing protocols and stuff like that. So you can actually handle the timeouts, not assuming there are no chain timeouts or delays or anything like that, which you kind of assume this function calls. So I'll just call another contract, another chain. It'll be like, I'm on my own chain. No, we acknowledge they're different. They're different reality. So you can actually build that. You get the packet sends, you get the result responses, you get the timeouts, you get the error messages, you get the whole packet protocol of those. You can work on that level, which is very, very powerful. And so those are the 2 features we took from Cosmos, really. We expose those to smart contracts. I think it's very, very powerful. It's not just generic. We expose those to smart contracts, especially IBC smart contracts. It's really, really powerful. No one else has anything like that. And the other thing we said is security first.
A long answer. I think we got a various range of topics that you mentioned. I think one of the questions that as a developer I'd like to ask is, so CosmWasm is trying to develop more secure smart contracts compared to Solidity. So I think